making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the prophets here now. You better man up. Bring that up. Cause the prophets here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Some about to run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I prayed to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so you better man up. Cause the prophets here now. You better man up. Bring that up. Cause the prophets here now. Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so boy, you better man up. Cause the prophets here now. You better man up. Bring that up. Cause the prophets here now. So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs while I'm taking care.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless. It's Officer Jez covering for Captain Joel, man, on Mondays. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to cover for the Cap. So all praises to the Most High. All right. So tonight we're gonna get in. Tonight, we're gonna talk about us fleeing into Africa during the times of persecution. Fleeing into Africa during the times of persecution. Why? Because Africa was always a means of escape for us. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Africa was always a means of escape for us, for our people. Okay, during the times of the various captivities that we were in. So in order to escape the punishment, the wrath that the Most High was putting on us, is he's whipping our behinds for breaking his laws. A lot of the times, what we did, we always fled into Africa, away from the persecution. All right, so that's what we're going to get into tonight, and also not just us fleeing into Africa, but also what did we do when we got into Africa? Who were we? Okay, who we became? Where did we settle when we was there? And then of course, the various empires that we had. Okay, so we're gonna get into all of that. All right. First, give me Matthews 2:13. Matthews 2:13, real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I see the comments? Let me see the comments. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, type Y. If you cannot hear me, just type N. If you can hear me, type Y. If you cannot hear me, type N. All right, 1 Y. That's good. So I know we got a lot of new people that's online or whatever the case is, and we like to show that we were in Africa. Of course, we know we came from. Of course, we know that the slave ships came and got us from Africa, right? I mean, the so-called white man, they came and got us from Africa, brought us over to Americas. But how do we get there? How do we get into Africa? That's what we want to go into. All right? So, read Matthew 2:13 real quick.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Right. So during the time of Christ, during the Roman captivity, okay, the angel told Joseph to take his family and flee into Egypt. Where is Egypt? Egypt is in Africa, northeast Africa. All right. Hey, did you find a map for me? Now understand, our land of Israel was always, remember, it was called the land of Canaan. Canaan was who? A son of Ham. All right, and Ham, they had all of Africa. It was called the land of Ham. Give me that in Psalms 105. It's Psalm 105. No, I want. Read that. Yep, read that.
Psalm chapter 105, verse 23.
Read.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
Read it again.
Israel also came into Egypt.
So Israel also came into Egypt, talking about our forefather Jacob. Go ahead.
And Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
And we sojourned, meaning we stayed in the land of Ham, Africa. All right, it was called the land of Ham. Okay, and the land of Israel was called the land of Canaan. All right, why? Because guess what? The land of Israel is connected to Africa, connected to Northeast Africa. All right. Now, here you see the Suez Canal, right? You see the Suez Canal right there. So remember, read Matthew 2:13 again. Real quick. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 2, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word.
Now, he said, take the young child and flee into Egypt. Now, I need you to get me Luke chapter 21, 24. Hold that map. Hey, and give me the term Middle East. Give me the term Middle East. Yes. Dang. Rip my Bible again, man.
Luke chapter 21, verse 21.
I'm starting slow, but just bear with me. Go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Flee where?
To the mountains.
Let them which are in Judea flee to the mountain. Now, this is the Roman persecution. This is when Rome was coming against us, 70 A.D. What we did, we fled to the mountains. We flee to the mountains. Read that again.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Now, we want to focus on flee to the mountains. The mountains was fleeing to the mountains was going into Northeast Africa. Okay, that's what it meant by flee into the mountains. But now you see the Suez Canal here. This was man-made. They put this here. Why? To give you the vision that land of Israel was not connected to Africa. All right? So that's what they established their vision to separate the fact that Israel was connected to Africa. So now they call it the Middle East. They call the land of Israel the Middle East. Give me that term, the Middle East, real quick. These demons. But before that, we was able to just walk and flee into Africa right there because it's right there. But now they put a water, they made a Suez Canal they put there. Read that.
The Middle East is a geopolitical region commonly encompassing Arabia, including the Arabian Peninsula and Bahrain, Asia Minor, Asian part of Turkey, except Hatay Province, East Thrace, European part of Turkey, Egypt, Iran, the Levant, including Asham and Cyprus, Mesopotamia, which is modern-day Iraq, and the Socotra Archipelago, a part of Yemen.
Now, they do this because the Arabs, they even got Egypt in there. Why? Because the Arabs, they rule Egypt right now. Okay? They conquered all of that area. All right? And then you got Saudi Arabia, then you got the land of Israel. All of that is included in the Middle East. Okay? Why? To cut us off from Africa. So that it would be no ties that Israel was connected to Africa. Now, just go to the term Middle East. Go to the Google and just put in Middle East to see where the term came from. Middle East. And you can get me Jeremiah 44:1.
Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 1.
Hold on. Read this real quick.
Middle East, now loosely the area around the East Mediterranean, especially Israel.
You see that? You see these demons, man? Especially Israel. Go ahead.
And the Arab countries from Turkey to North Africa and eastwards to Iran. Formerly, the area extending from the Tigris and Euphrates to Myanmar.
Now go down, see when the term was coined. The term Middle East. It should say it because I know the Suez Canal was made in 1859. See that? Go read that.
The Middle East was originally coined in the late 19th century by the British.
See that? By Esau, the British. They coined that term, the Middle East, to establish their vision. Go ahead.
Along with other Eurocentric geographic terms, such as the Near East, the Eastern Mediterranean regions closest to Europe, and the Far East, China, Japan, Korea, and other East Asian entities much farther away from Europe.
Right. So they the ones that came up with this Middle Eastern term. Middle East, Near East, Far East. All these terms came from Esau. All right. What? To establish their vision so that it wouldn't show, so that Israel, the land of Israel, wouldn't show no connection to Africa at all. Okay. So that was the whole point of that. All right. Now, it didn't say it, but it said the 19th century, but that was in the 1800s. The 1800s, the term Middle East was coined. I think it was 1850. All right. 1850. All right. You can get out of that. Read Jeremiah 44:1.
Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt.
So we had settlements in Africa, in Egypt already, during this time period. Our people loved Egypt. We loved Egypt. But we had settlements already in Egypt. Read that again.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt.
All the Jews which dwelt in the land of Egypt. We always had settlements in the land in Africa. Okay, that's why when you go to Matthew 2:13, the angel said, look, flee into Egypt. Why? We already had settlements in Egypt already. We was already there. Our people was already there. We always had an affinity with Egypt, like an alliance with Egypt. We always trusted in Egypt, just like our people trust in America. We always trusted in Egypt. Okay? From there, give me give me Isaiah 11. 11:11.
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt.
And from where?
Egypt.
And from Egypt. Go ahead.
And from Pathros.
Pathros is Upper Egypt.
And from Cush.
And from Ethiopia. Cush is Ethiopia. Go ahead.
And from Elam. And from Shinar.
Read.
And from Hamath. And from the islands of the sea.
And from the islands of the sea. Give me Zephaniah 3:10. So what I'm showing you is that we was always in Africa. We was always there.
Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10.
Let me get there. 1 second. And then I'm going to show you how our means of getting into, how we always got into Africa. All right. Read.
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia.
Beyond the rivers of where?
Ethiopia.
Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Go ahead.
My suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering.
Right. So even down in Ethiopia, we had settlements in Ethiopia. All right. Around that area. Okay. From there, get me now. Get me go to give me 2 Kings. Let's deal with the Assyrian captivity. Get me 2 Kings. 2 Kings 17:23. So we're gonna deal with the Assyrian captivity. Go ahead, you can read that.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 23.
Let me get it. Go ahead.
Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he has said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel.
Start at verse 20. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight.
Read.
For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin.
So Jeroboam, when you read about the split back in 1 Kings, Jeroboam he became the king over northern kingdom, over the 10 tribes, and Rehoboam became king over the southern kingdom. Okay, which was primarily Judah and Benjamin. And then Jeroboam kicked Levi out, so it became Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So he made the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom, to sin when he set up those calves. So that's what it's going into. Go ahead.
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he has said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
Read.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel.
Right. Give me the Jewish, it's called a Jewish virtual library, and go to Assyrian. Jewish virtual library real quick. We're going to show you how the Assyrians got down, how they dealt with us. Yep. Dang. Oh, all right. blow it up some more. That's good. Perfect. You can start. Go down. Right. You can start in the middle paragraph. Go back up to the beginning of it. Yeah, beginning with the monarch. Start there.
Beginning with the monarch, Tukulti Ninurta, 1235 to 1198 BC. Assyria began its first conquest, in this case, the conquest of Babylon. The Assyrian dream of empire began with the monarch, Tiglath-Pileser, 1116 to 1090, who extended Assyrian dominance to Syria and Armenia.
Right, so Tiglath-Pileser, or sometimes the scriptures call him Pul. You'll know him as Pul also. Go ahead.
But the greatest period of conquest occurred between 883 and 824 under the monarchs of Ashurnasirpal, the second, 883 to 859 BC.
Hey, I wasn't even about to help you with that. I couldn't even say you was on your own with that, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Shalmaneser III.
Shalmaneser III. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
858 to 824 BC.
Read.
Who conquered all of Syria and Palestine,
which is the land of Israel. Go ahead.
All of Armenia and the prize of prizes, Babylon and southern Mesopotamia.
So Shalmaneser III, okay, he's the one that conquered. He's the one that took us. I think he took the last wave of Israel. Shalmaneser III, he took the last wave of us. Now when it says, because the scripture's abbreviated, so it's gonna say that they conquered it, but they conquered us in waves. Like it was a year by year thing. I think it took 3 years to pretty much get us all up out of the land. All right. It wasn't no couple months or nothing. It took a year to probably really get us up out of the land. I mean, like 3 years, I believe. 3 or 4 years, somewhere around there. Go ahead.
Shalmaneser III, who conquered all of Syria and Palestine, all of Armenia, and the prize of prizes, Babylon and southern Mesopotamia.
Uh-huh.
The Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy towards the conquered.
So listen good. The Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy towards the conquered, which would be us. Go ahead.
In order to prevent nationalist revolts.
So in order to prevent nationalist revolts
by the conquered people.
Which would your nationalist revolts will be us, our own people coming together, starting an insurrection against those that held us captive, like we did here in America. Those will be nationalist revolts. Like, for example, in the 60s, Black Panthers, you had the Black Liberation Movement, okay, AIM, all those movements, they were nationalist revolt movements. That's what they were. Why? Because it was about revolutionary. All right, so those were examples of nationalist revolts. All right, go ahead.
In order to prevent nationalist revolts by the conquered people, the Assyrians would force the people they conquered to migrate in large numbers to other areas of the empire.
Why? So you will be separated from your land. So the reason why they did that is to separate you from your identity, separate you from your land, your culture, all of that. Why? Because if you kept those things in place, that will force you to revolt. That will force you to start a revolution. So what they did was, their policy was, look, we need to get them up out of this land, because their whole purpose was they're not going to conquer you and let you stay in your land. That didn't make sense to them. I conquer you, but I'm going to let you stay here. No. What they did was conquer you, and then they took everybody out of the land. So now what's going to happen now? You're going to be forced to do what? You're going to be forced to assimilate with the other nations. And guess what? Now you lose your identity. Now you lose your heritage. Give me that in Jeremiah 17:4.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
Why? Because, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
So the Assyrians, they practiced this policy right here. The same thing that America did when they came and got us from Africa. They took us and took us to another land. They did the same thing. They deported us out of our land during slavery when they came and got us. Why? To separate us from our identity, separate us from our culture. They even cut our hair. They even cut our hair. Why? Because our hair was a sense of our identity and culture. So they even shaved our hair off. So we would have no ties to our land no more. The Assyrians practiced this policy. That's where America get it from. Read that again. Read up here again.
The Assyrian conquerors invented a new policy toward the conquered. In order to prevent nationalist revolts by the conquered people, the Assyrians would force the people they conquered to migrate in large numbers to other areas of the empire.
So it's like they mixing everybody around. That's what their whole thing was. Let's mix everybody up. Okay, let's put so-and-so here. Let's put so-and-so over here. That's what their policy was. Mix everybody up. So you wouldn't have no ties to where you came from. Go ahead.
Besides guaranteeing the security of an empire built off of conquered people of different cultures and languages, these mass deportations of the populations in the Middle East, Mesopotamia, and Armenia turned the region into a melting pot of diverse cultures.
You see what it did? Now that created a melting pot. Sounds familiar? America. So this policy created a melting pot of different nations all together in one spot, just like America. And what happened? You end up assimilating amongst those cultures. You end up marrying their women. Okay, daughters marrying their sons, what the Most High told us not to do. But in this situation, this is what you end up doing. Losing your culture, losing your identity. Read.
Melting pot of diverse cultures.
Diverse cultures.
Religions.
Now you into different gods, different religions. Read.
and languages.
Now the languages, now you learning their language. The language is getting mixed up now. You're no longer speaking your language. Remember, you lose your heritage. You even start dressing like them. Start talking like them. You learn their works. Go ahead.
Whereas there would be little cultural contact between the conquered and the conquerors in early Mesopotamian history.
Read.
Under the Assyrians, the entire area became a vast experiment in cultural mixing.
You see that? Under them, the whole area became a culture mixing laboratory. Go ahead.
It was the Assyrian monarch Sargon II, 721 to 705 BC, who first forcefully relocated Hebrews after the conquest of Israel, the northern kingdom of the Hebrews.
You see that? So it was Sargon II who started this. Go ahead.
Although this was a comparatively mild deportation and perfectly in line with Assyrian practice, it marks the historical beginning of the Jewish diaspora.
Right. Go ahead.
This chapter in the Jewish diaspora, however, never has been really written. For the Hebrews deported from Israel seem to have blended in with Assyrian society. And by the time Nebuchadnezzar II conquers Judah, 587 BC, the southern kingdom of the Hebrews, the Israelites deported by Sargon II, have disappeared nameless and faceless into the sands of northern Mesopotamia.
Right. So we done assimilated with them already. All right. Go ahead.
I was about to say, officer, that also proves how they would become Gentiles. It says nameless and faceless. So what would you be called if you didn't have a name of Israel?
Right. Just like today, that's a very good point. Just like today, we called Americans, you be known as an Assyrian. You be called an Assyrian. All right. And that was us. They deported us mainly to the capital city, which was Nineveh. All right. The capital city, which was Nineveh. You'll be a Ninevite. You will no longer be known as an Israelite. You will be a Ninevite, just like in the book of Tobit, when you read about Tobit. Okay. From there, get me. Do I want that yet? Yeah. Hey, give me the first book. Give me the other book. Just pull it up. Let me see. Right there. Yep. Get the first page though. Remember. Perfect. All right.
Here we go. That's good. Go ahead. Just the underline part. Northern Egypt then was.
One second. So this book is called West Africa and Its Peoples. Okay, this book is called West Africa and Its Peoples. Listen good to what it says.
Northern Egypt then was the most known portion of the globe, and into it vast immigration took place from time to time, even to the most remote period.
So it says Northern Egypt, which is in North Africa, then was the most known portion of the globe. Why? Because Egypt was very known. Remember, at one time, Egypt was a superpower. So it was still famous at the time. And into it, vast immigration took place from time to time. Go ahead.
Even to the most remote period.
Read.
The 10 tribes of Israel.
So the 10 tribes of Israel, which would be Northern Kingdom. Read.
After they were left to follow the dictates of their own mind.
Breaking God's laws. Read.
And during the commotion and destructive warfare which ensued to escape utter extermination.
What was that? The Most High sending these other nations against us for breaking his laws. Okay, read that part again.
The 10 tribes of Israel, after they were left to follow the dictates of their own mind, and during the commotion and destructive warfare.
The commotion and destructive warfare, we just read it. That was the Assyrian captivity. That would be the Babylonian captivity. We're going to get to that. And that would be the Persian and Mede captivity. All the different captivities were the commotion and destructive warfares. Go ahead.
Which ensued to escape utter extermination.
So when those commotions and destructive warfare came upon us, we ensued to escape the utter extermination. By doing what? Read.
migrated
Migrated. Go ahead.
according to the usage of the times.
So according to whatever usage of the time it was, we decided to migrate into go back up. We decided to migrate into northern Egypt. Go ahead.
in vast numbers into various countries, but principally.
So not only into Egypt, but he said in various countries. I don't know if in remember we was deported into Spain. We was an omnipresent people, so we was all over. Spain, we was in Babylon, we was in Assyria, we went over to India, became the Cds and the Dalits, China. Okay, we was all over. But
principally into
principally means mainly, go ahead.
Into northern Africa.
So after all of those other escape routes, this was the main escape route right here for us. Go ahead.
As it then presented the safest and easiest route.
Why? Because we could just walk, we could just flee right there. Look, the land of Israel and Egypt was right next to each other. You could just walk there. But the other means of transportation to get to the other, to migrate elsewhere to escape extermination, we had to take boat by water. But Israel and Africa was right there. We could just flee. We could just walk there. So it was no problem. It was easy for us to just go right there. Go ahead.
Once settled.
What you had something? Oh, get it. See you turning your page.
Joshua chapter 1 verse 11. Pass through the hosts and command the people, saying, prepare you victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you to possess it.
Talking to Mike.
My fault. So from the time of Egypt, from the land of Egypt, it only took us 3 days to come into the land of Canaan. So like the officer was saying, that's literally how easy it was for us to travel back into Egypt.
Right. Instead of going by boat to other areas of the earth.
Right.
You know, so it was easier to go right there to Africa, right there. All right. Read on.
Once settled, every commotion and intestine war had the most powerful effect of inducing these bands to shift their abode still further.
Right. So even though we fled into Egypt, even though we fled into North Africa, we were still met by persecutions and so forth. We were still met by different other the Ham. We still met by Hamites. Okay, that when they mess with us, they push us further down. Go ahead.
And so lose all connection with the other branch of the tribe.
Right. So we'll lose all connection with the rest of our people. Right? Why? Because we're getting pushed down further and further into Africa, deeper. Read.
As hundreds of years pass on and generation after generation roll away, they lose a great many of their habits and customs.
So as we flee into Africa, generations and generations pass, we start eventually losing our heritage, losing our customs. We start following the Hamites. We start learning their works. Give me that in Psalms 106 and 34.
Psalm chapter 106, verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them.
So we were mingled among the Hamites, and we learned their works, okay, which became a trap unto us. So let's read that part again.
Once settled, every commotion and intestine war had the most powerful effect of inducing these bands to shift their abode still further, and so lose all connection with the other branch of the tribe. As hundreds of years pass on, and generation after generation roll away, they lose a great many of their habits and customs.
So we stop wearing fringes. We stop keeping our laws. Okay, now we into witchcraft, voodoo. All right, now we worshiping a snake, a serpent. Okay, so these are the things we start to do because we are amongst the Hamites. Go ahead.
becoming more amalgamated
mixed, assimilated.
with the population with which they associate.
Read.
But when Mohammedanism overspread northern Africa.
So when the Arabs came in around 600, 700 AD, when they started pushing themselves into North Egypt, into Africa, go ahead,
destroying by fire and sword all those of another,
go ahead,
religion, the Israelitish descendants or the inhabitants occupying the central portion of Africa.
So it says the Israelitish descendants are the inhabitants occupying the central portion of Africa. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to get into that also. Go ahead.
Passed forward, seeking shelter to the south and west, apart, namely those from the east central, crossing the Banu or Joliba branch of the Niger.
So those areas is like around Lake Chad. That central area, like Lake Chad into Nigeria. Go ahead.
Descended gradually southward.
So we kept moving southward. Read.
And became intermingled with the original inhabitants.
Hamites. So as the Arabs came in, they pushed us further and further down and deeper into Africa. Okay. So we went from north. We kept going down till we got down to central, and then we just eventually got all the way till we hit around Nigeria, and then we started spreading westward. So now you know into Ghana, Timbuktu, Gold Coast. So we started spreading into those areas. Read.
Protected from incursion on the north by the Banu River, and quietly settled between the Great Niger and Old Calabar rivers.
Right. So that's Nigeria. Give me pull up a map of Nigeria. Matter of fact, get the red map. That might be I want to show the rivers. The Banu River, the Jaloba, and the River Niger. It's not Niger. Blow it up. Let me see. Yeah, give me a map with the names. We'll come back to this. Give me the map with the names of the rivers so we can understand, so we can get some understanding of what he's talking about. Put in the Benue River, Jaloba. Yeah, let's try that. Huh? Wait, go right here. Click on this one right here. No, not that one. Yeah, let's try that. Blow that up. Yep, here we go. So, remember, go back to the page real quick, and then we're going to come back so we can show the correlation of the rivers that he's referring to. So, remember, what we showing you? We're showing you how Israel, how we always, through escape of persecution, we fled into Africa. That was our most known route of fleeing persecution. All right, when other nations came in to take us into captivity. All right, we always fled into Africa. All right, so we're showing you how we got into Africa. Okay, it was numerous captivities that we always. Matter of fact, every captivity we fled into Africa. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm gonna generalize it. Every captivity we fled into Africa to escape persecution. That's why when we gonna get to that too in Luke 21:24, Christ said, "What? Flee to the mountains," because that's what we always did. That was our means of escape. All right. Read it again.
Protected from incursion on the north by the Banu River, and quietly settled between the Great Niger and Old Calabar rivers.
Oh, by the way, this book is 1860. White eyes only. 1860s. All right, go ahead. Read on.
They remained in peace and grew from one generation to another in idolatry.
So it says, seeking shelter to the south and west, a part, namely though from the east central, crossing the Bainu or the Jaloba branch of the Nigger. And then it says protected from incursion on the north by the Bainu River and quietly settled between the Great Nigger and Old Calabar rivers. So let's go back. All right, so it might not show the Jaloba, but you can see the river Nigger right here. Put a cursor around right there. And that goes all the way, go down. That goes all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. All right. And then you have the Benue River right here. So he's talking about us coming into Nigeria. That's what he's explaining, how we got into Nigeria. And he said Old Calabar. Go up. Can you move up on that map? Or that just fixed like that? All right, so go down at the bottom here. You see Calabar. We went all the way down to Calabar, Old Calabar. All right, Old Calabar. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into both sides of Nigeria, of the River Nigger. All right, let's get out of it. You go exit out of that. All right. Give me I want the other book. Matter of fact, go back to that page, read on. And then we're gonna get into the Yoruba.
Protected from incursion on the north by the Benue River and quietly settled between the Great Nigger and Old Calabar rivers, they remained in peace and grew from one generation to another in idolatry, but still leaving tangible proofs in the form of their religion of the Judaistic origin of the inhabitants.
You see that? So even though we got into idolatry, okay, even though we started, like, for example, when Esau, when they came and got us and put us on slave ships and brought us here to America, and as we was here serving slavery, chattel slavery, a lot of times when we ran away, when we ran in the advertisement for runaway slaves, you would notice that they had a description of us. A lot of times they had, so and so had 3 scars on his face. So and so had scarifications over here. Where we get them scars from? The other nations, because we were following Ham with the scar on our face. That's why the Most High said, don't make no cuttings in your flesh. Give me that.
Leviticus chapter 21, verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
Nor do what?
Make any cuttings in their flesh.
Why? Because get Leviticus 18. Verse 1.
Yes, sir. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shall you walk in their ordinances.
Why? Because they put cuttings in their flesh. They the ones that made marks for the dead. These are the things that Ham did. So, you got a example? Yeah, bro. Oh, all right, y'all on point. All right, all praises. Read that.
450 reward. Ran away or stolen from the subscriber, living in Morehouse Parish, L.A. A Negro man named Jerry, about 35 or 40 years of age, very black, about 5 feet 8 inches high, very intelligent, having full eyes and a scar.
And a what?
And a scar
Uh-huh.
on the right side of his neck from 4 to 6 inches long. I will give a reward of $50 for apprehending and keeping or for lodging in jail said Negro so that I get him again. I will also give a reward of $400 to any person who will bring to conviction the scoundrel who stole said Negro.
Right. All right. So that was the example of how we had scars on our faces and so forth. All right. Making cuttings in our flesh. Okay. Which came from Ham, from the Hamites. All right. So that's where we got that from. So go back. Did we finish that page? Go back. Let me see. Yes, you read that part.
The language.
And then we could exit out of that. Go ahead.
The language, or the little of it that is known, is full of Hebraisms, the constructions of sentences, the verbal significations, the mode of comparison are all typical of the Hebrew.
Right. Go down. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Right here.
From a little study of the ethnology of the language of Western Africa and the Hebrew tongue.
So listen good. It says from a little study of the ethnology of the language of Western Africa. Go ahead.
And the Hebrew tongue.
And the Hebrew tongue. So what do West Africa and Hebrew got in common? Read.
One is involuntarily brought to trace out a similarity, and one of them to that of the tribes which, from disobedience to the will of God, were dispersed. And the greatest number of them possibly went to Africa.
See that? So it says from a little study of ethnology of the language of Western Africa and the Hebrew tongue, one is involuntarily brought to trace out a similarity, and one of them to that of the tribes. Why? Because we were still speaking Hebrew. Okay, even though we started mingling them and in idolatry with these Hamites that was around us, we were still speaking our language. Okay? All right. And it says, from the disobedience to the will of God were dispersed. Why? Because for breaking God's laws, Most High was kicking our behind when he brought these other nations against us. So guess what? We was out. We left. We dipped. We fled into Africa. But he said the greatest number of us went where? To Africa. Read on.
I mean the lost tribes of Israel.
We're not lost. Go ahead.
If the rites and ceremonies of the religion of the tribes bordering on the banks of the river Niger,
Nigeria, read,
be closely examined and compared with the religion of the Hebrews at the earliest period.
All right. All right, so you can drop that. You can drop that. So what they saying is we were still speaking our language when we fled into Africa. Okay, now, give me Diort Lane. Give me Diort Lane. Now, Deacon Ithan brought this out way back. I'm talking about way back. A couple years ago. Diort Lane. No, not that one. The other one. The Oyo. Then we'll get that one next.
The origin of the Yoruba and the lost tribes of Israel.
So the origin of the Yoruba and the lost tribes of Israel. Go ahead, read that.
Abstract.
So the whole time we was reading about the Assyrian captivity. This is what I wanted to get to. About the Assyrian captivity. All right. Watch this.
On the basis of comparative studies between the dynastic tradition of the Oyo Yoruba and ancient Near Eastern history, the present article argues that the Yoruba traditions of provenance claiming immigration from the Near East are basically correct.
So the Yoruba, which are from Western Nigeria, them claiming tradition from the Northeast, from the Near East is basically correct. Go ahead.
According to Oyo Yoruba tradition, the ancestral Yoruba saw the Assyrian conquest.
Hold on, stop. says the ancestral Yoruba, they saw the Assyrian conquest. Go ahead.
Of the Israelite kingdom.
So wait, the ancestral Yoruba saw the conquest of the Israelites by the Assyrians. What time period?
From the 9th and the 8th centuries BC.
Read.
From the perspective of the Israelites.
From the perspective of the Israelites. Why? Because that was them, Northern Kingdom. That's how they was able to see it. It was them. Read that part again. Read the whole thing again.
According to Oyo Yoruba tradition, the ancestral Yoruba saw the Assyrian conquest of the Israelite kingdom from the 9th and the 8th centuries BC. From the perspective of the Israelites.
You see how Esau words it, though? Seems confusing, but no, he's letting you know that was them. They seen the conquer. They was there because that was them, Northern Kingdom. They were Israelites. Read.
After the fall of Samaria in 722 BC, they were deported to eastern Syria and adopted the ruling Assyrian kings.
Who was deported? The Yoruba. Who was the Israelites? Go ahead.
As their own.
So what happened? Remember we read in the Jewish Virtual Library how we got deported? Remember how we read how we got deported and we started assimilating? Now, read that. It says they were deported to eastern Syria and adopted the ruling Assyrian kings as their own. So now we looking at the Assyrian kings as our kings now. We adopted them as our own. Why? Because we assimilated. Go ahead. Remember, they said they deported us to confuse the nations and the cultures, so it wouldn't be any nationalist revolts. Read.
The collapse of the Assyrian Empire is, however, mainly seen through the eyes of the Babylonian conquerors of Nineveh in 612 BC. This second shift of perspective reflects the disillusionment of the Israelite and Babylonian deportees from Syria-Palestine towards the Assyrian oppressors.
Right. So they're saying even once Babylon came in and conquered the Assyrians, we fled into Africa again. Okay, go ahead.
After the defeat of the Egypto-Assyrian forces at Carchemish in Syria in 605 BC.
So read that part again.
After the defeat of the Egypto-Assyrian forces at Carchemish in Syria in 605 BC.
Stop. What was happening? You know what I want? With Josiah? Yeah, get that. What happened during that time period? It says after the defeat of the Egypto-Assyrian forces at Carchemish in Syria in 605 BC. Okay, let's see what else was going on.
2 Kings chapter 23, verse 29. In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. And King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him. And his servants carried him in a chariot dead from Megiddo and brought him to Jerusalem and buried him in his own sepulchre.
Right. Why? Because Josiah wasn't supposed to meddle. He wasn't supposed to meddle in this. Get where the Pharaoh told him, like, look, this ain't your fight.
Yes, sir. 2 Chronicles chapter 35 and verse 20. After all this, when Josiah prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war.
With the Assyrians. Read.
For God commanded me to make haste. Forbear thee from meddling with God, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him.
So King Josiah said, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm going to fight. Go ahead.
But disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not to the words of Necho from the mouth of God, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his father. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah.
Right. All right. So now go back.
After the defeat of the Egypto-Assyrian forces at Carchemish in Syria in 605 BC, numerous deportees followed the fleeing Egypto-Assyrian troops to the Nile Valley before continuing their migration to sub-Saharan Africa.
So we were migrating. We was fleeing the Egypto, because why? Egypt ended up losing against the Assyrians. Okay, so Egypt ended up losing against the Assyrians, and we fled into Africa. All right. From there, go down. I don't want all of this. Go to page, I think it's 82. Let me see. 5, yeah. All right. We can stop here at this map. So you see how it shows. See how it shows Assyria over here? Okay, so this is our migration. This is our migration he's showing. So he's showing the Assyrians go down into Africa. See how we always fleed and come down? See how we always fleed into Egypt? It was right there. There was no water. There was no Suez Canal. We always fled there. We was able to just walk right across into Africa. All right, go ahead. Go down. So we took 2 routes. We took the one route into south, into central. Go all the way down into central. Okay, going down towards like Lake Chad and all of that. Right there into Nigeria, passing into Nigeria. Now go to the second route. So and then we came down through the Nile Valley right here. All the way down through near Ethiopia, all the way around the Sudan, all of that, and came and met up and came to Kanem and Bornu. I'm going to get that too. All right. And then went further south. All right. So this is how the Yoruba, which is in that resides in western Nigeria, okay, this is Northern Kingdom. That's the Northern Kingdom. This is what Dior Lang is bringing out, that's the Northern Kingdom of Israel that fled during the Assyrian captivity. All right, that fled also when the Babylonians came in and conquered Assyria. All right, go down. Go to what? Now 582 or 581? Yeah, 582. Yeah, right here. You start here at Yoruba tradition of migration.
Yoruba traditions of migration from the Near East. The Yoruba live in a tropical region too far south of the Sahara to have come to the note of medieval Arab geographers. Although now considered as a single tribe or people, in pre-colonial times, the Yoruba did not form a political unit, but comprised many separate states in what is now southwestern Nigeria.
So that's where they reside right now, southwestern Nigeria. Go ahead.
Yoruba was an alternative name for the largest and most powerful of these states, Oyo in the north. The name was extended in the second half of the 19th century to the entire linguistic and cultural group, claiming a common origin from the Ife.
Yeah, it's called Ife or Ife or something. But that's their tradition of where everything started at. That's the ancestral land of when they got to Nigeria. Go ahead.
The site of a remarkable myth of creation, Basecom 1969 9/11.
Right. Go ahead.
Therefore, the few remarks on the Yoruba occurring in writings of African scholars of the Sudanic belt from the 17th to the 19th century refer solely to the kingdom of Oyo and not to all Yoruba-speaking people.
Right. Go down. Let me see if I want anything else. Go. Slow down. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. Trying to get to some key points. Come on, come on, come on. Hey, go back up real quick. So start there real quick. Let me see. Don't want anything out of here.
The dynastic tradition of Oyo as an outline of Israelite Assyrian history.
Now go down, go down, go down. I want to get to where Jehu, the names. I want to get to the different names that we had from when we left our land to Assyria. The correlation of the names of the kings. You moving fast. Why you moving so fast? I ain't even tell you to move. Yeah, go. Hey, start right here where it says first section.
First section. The first section of the corpus of Oyo tradition concerns early Israelite and Assyrian kings. Recited in a clear sequence, the well-structured royal poems of Oyo begin with Lamaradu Nimrod, the biblical name, the Sargon of Akkad, 2334 to 2279. He is followed by Oduduwa, the legendary founder of Ife.
So Oduduwa or Oduduwa, whatever you want to call him, they reverence him as the founder of Ife, the ancestral land that the myth of the creation of where in Nigeria, where everything started for them. Go ahead.
And Oranyan and Oranmiyan, the legendary founder of Oyo.
Watch this. Go ahead.
Account of the root dode, beloved, applied in the form to the Semitic chaos deity Yam, and the plural ending Awuuwa. Oduduwa seems to designate a plurality of half hostile, half friendly Assyrian kings.
Right. Why? Because remember, we assimilated and started learning their language. Okay. And remember, we started with the Assyrian kings. We adopted the Assyrian kings as our own. Go ahead.
As for Oranmiyan, the name seems to stand for Jacob.
For who?
Jacob.
That name seems to stand for Jacob, but it's the Assyrian. It's in the Assyrian language. Go ahead.
Son of Isaac, also called Israel.
Come on, move up. The
eponymous ancestor of the Israelites. In view of its derivation.
All right, drop down. You drop down. Yeah, read that. We see that. Oh, we see that
right there.
Yep, read that.
This succession of events closely corresponds to the first Assyrian intervention in Israel under Shalmaneser III, which, according to some historians, was an important factor in the overthrow of Joram by Jehu, and the substitution of the Omrides by the dynasty of Jehu.
Read.
The Jehu.
No,
excuse me. The name Sango is most likely derived from Sangu, the priestly royal title of Assyrian kings. Olo Yakoro, Yoruba, king of Kor, Oyo, apparently designates Joram, the last king of the Omrids.
So he's saying that Oyo, king of Kor Oyo, come from Joram, the last king of the Omrides. All right, go ahead.
While the name Omusanda, Yoruba, son of Sanda, refers to Jeho B. Nimsi, 841 to 804, the founder of the second dynasty of Israel, supported by some reconstructions of Israelite history. This account of events describes Jehu as an instrument of Assyrian expansionism.
Right. All right, go down. Enough of all of that. Go down. I want to get to the name Yoruba. Keep going. Watch this. See, it says Israelite kings, Assyrian, Babylonian kings, original names. See where it says Israelite and Assyrian kings until the Assyrian conquest in Israel in 722 BC. So these are the names that we ended up. So, for example, Orion is that will be the original name. That's our forefather Jacob / Israel. Okay. Ajaka, that's Isaac. Sangu, that's Shamaniasar III. Okay, these are the names that was found amongst us. And then you have Ajaka, you have Amu Sanda, that's Jehu. Olawaso, that's Joash. Okay, so these are the names, original names, and these are names that we was calling them when we adopted the Syrian language. All right, you get out of that. Go down. Just want to get to this one point real quick. Go down. Where is it at? Come on. Let me see. You might have to go back up. Keep going real quick, though. Let me see. Hey, I'll read this real quick. The Yoruba, the lost tribes, is read that.
Contrary to other African people, such as also the neighboring Igbo and southwestern Nigeria, the Yoruba never claimed an Israelite identity. Although several authors pointed out the existence of Israelite customs among the Yoruba, they saw them as side effects of Israelite influences and not as the result of a direct cultural transfer through migration from the northern kingdom of Israel. More recently, re-examination of the Oyo dynastic tradition.
Hey, hold on. So all of that other stuff we just scrolled past was nothing. This is the real part right here. Everything that we just scrolled past all led up to the conclusion of this right here. This is what Esau does, man. They just beat around a bush instead of just getting to the point. But this is the point. Go ahead. Where you was at?
More recently, re-examination of the Oyo dynastic tradition in combination with a comparison of cultural traits led to the conclusion that direct links must have existed between the northern Israelites and the Yoruba. However, owing to the incomplete study of Oyo tradition, this conclusion did not indicate the precise nature of the historical connection between ancient Israel and the Oyo Yoruba.
Jump to from a comparative analysis. Right
from a
there.
comparative analysis of Oyo dynastic tradition and ancient Near Eastern history.
So this is what we wanted to get to. Go ahead.
It appears that Israelites migrated to West Africa subsequently to the fall
of the Assyrian Empire. No bomb, huh? Damn. Boom. Read it again.
From a comparative analysis of Oyo dynastic tradition in ancient Near Eastern history, it appears that Israelites migrated to West Africa subsequently to the fall of the Assyrian Empire.
Go ahead.
And
okay.
and
that was a dynamite. Go ahead.
And that their descendants survive as the core people of the present day Oyo
Yoruba. All right. So the scholars know that from the Assyrian Empire, we fled into Africa, Northern Kingdom, fled into Africa during the conquest of the Assyrians, and we ended up in southwestern Nigeria, and we became the Yoruba today. All right, go ahead.
Indeed, Oyo tradition reveals that the ancestral Yoruba were mainly composed of Israelites who, in the course of their history, became influenced by Assyrian views of past events.
Right. So Assyrian views, meaning they started adopting the Assyrian kings as their own. Go ahead.
providing precious details about the ancient Near Eastern history of their ancestors. It begins with some information on the Omrad dynasty, which ruled over Israel in the second half of the 10th and the first half of the 9th century. It continues to emphasize the importance of the first Assyrian intervention in Israelite history, which took place in 841 BC. And at the same time, it underlines the subservient role of the Omusanda Jehu with respect to the Assyrian conquerors.
Go ahead.
Subsequently, it depicts favorably some of the Israelite kings and alluding to the Assyrian conquest of Samaria in 722 BC.
All right, drop down, go down. Go down, go. Oh, hold on. Yep. You see that little note 20? Read that. And then we're going to look up Yoruba. But read this real quick.
In line with the Israelite figures of Ajaka, Isaac, Oranyan, Jacob, and Oluwasu, Joash.
So these are Northern Kingdom kings. Northern Kingdom had no good kings at all. No good kings. All right, go ahead.
The Yoruba,
listen good. Go ahead.
Name seems to be derived from Jeroboam. May the people be great. The name of the founder of the Northern Kingdom of Israel.
Don't even drop it now, man. Don't even drop the bomb. Boom. Damn. Yo, read it again, man. Read it again.
In line with the Israelite figures of
I need y'all to wake up, man. I need y'all to wake up. Come on.
In line with the Israelite figures of Ajaka Isaac.
Ajaka is the Assyrian form of Isaac. Go ahead.
Oranyan.
Oranyan is the Assyrian form of Jacob. Go ahead.
And Oluwasu.
Oluwasu is the Assyrian form of Joash. Read.
The Yoruba names.
Now, the Yoruba name, go ahead.
Seems to be derived from Jeroboam.
From Jeroboam. That's where it comes from. Read.
May the people be great.
Uh-huh.
The name of the founder of the Northern Kingdom of Israel.
Thank you. All right, you get out of that. Now, I want to go look up Yoruba. Let's look up Yoruba on Wikipedia. Do it. Where you going? All right. Do it. Say it here. Let me see. Hold on. Slow down, man. Go out of that. Go back. Go back. Yeah, let me see. Go to etymology. Is it etymology? Real quick. I don't want to take too much time, but real quick. I want to get into the Babylonian. All right, don't worry about it. Give me the other one of Diort Lane. Kanem. So I know we heard of the Kanem Bornu Empire. Who was the Kanem Bornu Empire? Who was that? All right, so the same thing. Remember with Diort Lane, go down, let me see. I just want to get straight to the point. I don't want to read all this. Go ahead. I'll tell you when this. Stop. Go. Because what he does, he's a good scholar, but he goes through so much just to get to the point. It's like, yo, just say it, man. Look, all of this for what? Where's it at? Go ahead. Yeah, just keep going. I don't know if it's all the way at the bottom here. Oh, yeah. Keep going. 1 second, Israel. 1 second. Nah, just say go back. Go down. Now I'm looking for wait, is this it? Nope. Be honest, I forgot where. There's so much. Yeah, just go down a little bit more, and then I'll probably tell you get out of it. Right, hold on. Let me see. All right, go down. Probably getting closer to it. All right, so look, you see he got the same map going on here, but this time he got it. Us coming from the same, still fleeing. This is around 605 BC now. Us fleeing, but going into the Bernu Kanem. Right there. Go down. Right there. Bernu. So we had an empire called the Bernu Kanem Empire. Okay. Now go out of that. All right, you get out of that. Hey, do y'all have the book, the Jewish Encyclopedia, page 250? I think y'all have that. Y'all gotta have that somewhere. Yep. Yeah, y'all got that. Go back. You just seen it. No, go back to the other one. You just had it. Page 450. Bro, I just seen it. You're moving too fast. All right, slow down. 450 right there. Let me see. Is that it? Keep going. Dang, y'all probably don't even got 450. That's the one I need. Hey, say something. Oh, yeah. Say something.
Right. So the history that the officer is bringing out is extremely important. One of the main reasons is because a lot of our people like to think that we come from Africa, okay, or not from Africa, excuse me, that we come from Egypt or that we're the Egyptians or something of that nature.
My man, what you talking about, man?
Nah,
I'm messing. Go ahead.
Yo, what's going?
Nah, you good? Go ahead. Finish up.
Nah, but you got to understand that throughout history, because we were so close to Egypt, that's why we always fled into Egypt. That's the history. That's all that the officer is bringing out. All of the different times that we fled into Egypt, just based off of geographically how close it was to us to escape into Egypt. All right, that's where you got all of the confusion. People saying that we're Egyptians, we're all of those. No, we're the Israelites. We just fled into that country. That's all. We just fled there. We're still looking for that book though. So anytime y'all want to find that.
Hey, pull up this article real quick.
All praises.
All praises. Hey, I'm about to send you this article real quick. I'm sending the Soj Mas. Pull that joint up real quick, and then we're gonna get into that's Northern Kingdom. We're gonna get into Judah, Southern Kingdom. True Nigerians. So read that.
The Yorubas, the tribe of Joseph.
Damn, yo, where's the bombs, man? Ain't no bomb. Don't even drop it now. Yo, y'all trying to sabotage the operation, man. Oh, he the bomb guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. My man need a shot of espresso, bro. He the bomb guy. Yo, all right, come on.
Disclaimer: due to the series of migrations, intermarriages, and commingling with other races over the centuries, it is not possible to state categorically that all the people answering to Yoruba today are from the tribe of Joseph or Ephraim.
Damn. Go ahead.
However, there is ample documentary evidence that shows the Hebrews, Evio, migrated to West Africa. Majority of Evio people can be found in Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and part of Ghana, and all over Africa and diaspora where they were sold as slaves.
Wow. All right, go down. Says origin of the name Yoruba. Let's get that.
The origin of the name Yoruba was likely to have been derived from the name of Jeroboam from the tribe of Joseph, specifically Ephraim.
Read.
Designating the founder of the northern Hebrew Israelite kingdom.
Read.
English. Jeroboam,
literally,
let the people increase. William F. Albright has dated his reign from 922 to 901 BC, while Edwin Thiele offers the dates 931 to 910 BC.
All right. You could get go down. Let me see if anything else on that. Right here it says Jeroboam is
from the tribe of Joseph, specifically Ephraim. This can be seen in the meaning of the name Yoruba or Yoruba.
Go down. Go down. All right, so you don't need no more on that. All right. From there, let's get go to Jeremiah 50 and 17.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 17. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria have devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones.
You see that? And last, this Nebuchadnezzar. So the Assyrians took northern kingdom, and then Nebuchadnezzar of the Babylonian captivity took southern kingdom. Okay, so we were all in captivity once Nebuchadnezzar came in. But I'm gonna say it again. The Assyrians took northern kingdom, Babylon took southern kingdom. All right, so read that again.
Israel is a scattered sheep.
The
lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria hath devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones.
Right, give me Jeremiah 43 and 1. Jeremiah 43 and 1.
Jeremiah chapter 43, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking unto all the people all the words of the Lord their God, for which the Lord their God has sent him to them, even all these words, then spake Azariah the son of Hoshiah, and Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the proud men, saying unto Jeremiah, Thou speakest falsely. The Lord our God hath not sent thee to say, Go not into Egypt to sojourn there.
But so what happened was, Gedaliah. What happened was, Nebuchadnezzar came in Babylon. He took Joachim. He started setting up puppet kings. Okay, and then he set up Gedaliah. What happened was a royalty of the line of King David named Ishmael. He got mad. He didn't like it. He started a revolt against Gedaliah and Nebuchadnezzar. He killed Gedaliah, and from that time forth, we was going to flee into Egypt because we didn't want Babylon over us. All right, so we was going to flee into Egypt. All right, read that. So I just bring you up to speed of what was going on.
Verse 3. But Baruch the son of Neriah setteth thee on against us, for to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they might put us to death and carry us away captives into Babylon. So Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces and all the people obeyed not the voice of the Lord to dwell in the land of Judah. But Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Judah that were returned from all nations, whither they have been driven, to dwell in the land of Judah, even men and women and children, and the king's daughters, and every person that Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah, the son of Jehoiakim, the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the prophet, and Baruch, the son of Neriah. So they came into the land of Egypt, for they obeyed not the voice of the Lord. Thus came they even to Tahaphanes. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah and Tahaphanes, saying.
So even after the Most High said, look, do not go into the land of Egypt. Do not go into the land of Egypt. We said, no, we don't care what the Most High said. We going into Egypt. We going. The Most High said, don't go. We said, nah, we going. That's how rebellious we were, man. Give me Isaiah 31. Isaiah 31 and 1. You start at verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help.
So Moses said, look, destruction to them that go down to Egypt for help. Because we loved Egypt. We loved them. We always ran to them for succor, for comfort. Go ahead. Read that again.
Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help.
Uh-huh.
And stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look.
So we seen Egypt numbers. We love their numbers. We like, yo, we know they can help us against Babylon. We know they can help us against Assyria or whatever nation came against us. We looked at Egypt numbers. We looked at their horses. We looked at their chariots, and we was like, yo, we gonna get help from Egypt. That's who we want help from. Just how we look at America today. Go ahead.
But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
But we look not to the Most High God. We cared about Egypt. Read.
Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity.
Read.
Now the Egyptians are men.
So the Most High had to remind us that the Egyptians are nothing but men. Read.
And not God.
And not God. Read.
And their horses flesh and not spirit.
And those horses they got are just flesh, man. It's not spirit. They don't got the chariots. Right? Go ahead.
When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together.
Read.
For thus hath the Lord spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight from Mount Zion and for the hill thereof.
Right. All right. From there, give me the one book. All right, we're gonna talk about the Igbos, the Igbos of southeastern Nigeria now. The Igbos of southeastern Nigeria. Okay. All right, we just dealt with Northern Kingdom. We dealing with Southern Kingdom. We're doing the Babylonian captivity. Read.
The Igbos of Nigeria. Several African tribes still consider themselves descended from Hebrew stock, including the Igbo of Nigeria, Tutsis of East Africa, and the Bamilekis of Cameroon.
Read.
Black Jews in America trace their heritage back to those Jews who fled from Jerusalem into Africa after the destruction of the first temple 2,500 years ago.
Damn, read that again.
Black Jews in America trace their heritage back to those Jews who fled from Jerusalem into Africa after the destruction of the first temple 2,500 years ago.
Jump down. Yeah, this one right here. Concerning the origin.
Concerning the origin of the Igbos, history books and contemporary writings on the subject confirm that the Igbos of Nigeria originated from Israel in the Middle East.
Keep 1 second. I forgot to send y'all this joint. Man. Hold on. 1 second. I forgot that. Right here. Oh, yeah, this is the actual report. Let me see. One second. All right, let me get the... Y'all got that, right? All right, hold on. Oh. Hey, you go ahead. You keep reading. Oh, they did?
Concerning the origin of the Igbos, history books and contemporary writings on the subject confirm that the Igbos of Nigeria originated from Israel in the Middle East, that they were part and parcel of the fallout of the scattered Hebrews from their native land, Israel, around 597 BC and 70 AD, respectively.
When?
597 BC and 70 AD.
So this is Southern Kingdom, Babylonian. This is during the Babylonian fallout. So it says, concerning the origin of the Igbos, history books and contemporary writings on the subject confirm that the Igbos of Nigeria originated from Israel in the Middle East. They go that Middle East again. That they were part and parcel of the fallout of the scattered Hebrews from their native land, Israel, around 597 BC. That's when Babylon came in. And 70 AD, respectively. That's when Rome came in. We always fleed into Africa, deeper into Africa, Nigeria. Okay, keep reading.
The name Hebrew is simply the English version of the Jewish word Ibrit, pronounced as Ivrit.
Hey, that's why I read about Jeremiah and them when they fled into Egypt. Okay, because this was the start of it, and then we fled further south till we got into southeastern Nigeria. That was the southern kingdom of Israel now. All right, go ahead.
Sometimes mispronounced as Evite or Iphite or Ehite by the Igbos. In Hebrew, B is pronounced as V. For instance, Tel Aviv is written as Tel Abib in ancient Hebrew. See Ezekiel 3:15. But pronounced and now also written as Tel Aviv. Interestingly, B is also pronounced as V in some parts of Igbo land. For example, Ibu, load, or Ivu, load, Ibule Ram, or
Where you at?
Ibule Ram.
Yeah,
Abu.
jump down to a name usually associated. Right there.
Please highlight that. Thank you. A name usually associated with Abraham, the father of Isaac and grandfather of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel after his Jacob's encounter with the angel of the Almighty. Actually, the exiled Hebrews, Hebos, Ebos, or Ebos, as the British called them, into Nigeria originally referred to themselves as Ephite, corruption of Ivrit, in the Anambra Igbo areas.
So what we showing you is that you had in Nigeria, we always fled further south, okay, and when we got into Africa. So we fled into Nigeria in those areas. On one side, you had the Yoruba, which is, we just proved that was the northern kingdom of Israel. On the other side, you had Judah, Benjamin, Levi that fled down during the Babylonian captivity. Okay, why? Because we always was in Africa. So we always had a settlement because our people we was already there. You know, so even during the various captivities after that, 70 A.D. And I'm going to show you during when Rome sieged us in 63 B.C. by Pompey. I'm going to show you that also. So get me. Go to Wikipedia. Give me Pompey. No, go back. I don't want to be all over the place. Go back to that article that I just sent. So this right here, I sent you another article right here. Give me this one first. So Bishop brought this out way back. Like, it was like probably my first, second year in the truth when he brought this out. All right, read that.
White House memo of 1969 under Nixon called the Igbo Jews of West Africa.
So they know. They call the Igbos the Jews of West Africa. All right. Read that first part.
In a White House memo dated Tuesday, January 28, 1969, to President Nixon, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger describes the Igbos as the wandering Jews of West Africa, gifted, aggressive, westernized, at best envied and resented, but mostly despised by their neighbors in the Federation. Foreign Relations
Ham.
document.
That's who our neighbors are that we were despised by. Ham. All right. So they called us. He called the Igbos the wandering Jews of West Africa. All right, the wandering Jews of West Africa. Now, get me. Matter of fact, let's. I don't want that yet. Go get me get me Pompey. Yeah, Pompey. Go to Wikipedia, put in Pompey. I'm almost done. Wikipedia, but not almost done, but Pompey. All right, go down to when he conquered Israel, 63 BC. Right? No. Keep going. Keep going. All right, slow down a little bit. Go up a little bit. All right, go down. Right here. Yep, read that. Organization of the East.
The final collapse of the Seleucid Empire allowed Pompey to annex Syria in 64 BC, but its dissolution de-established the region. While many of its cities had used the power vacuum to achieve independence, in early 63 BC, Pompey left Antioch and marched south, occupying coastal cities like Apamea before crossing the anti-Lebanon mountains and capturing Pella, Jordan, and Damascus.
Go ahead.
Further south, Judea was disrupted by the Hasmonean Civil War, in which Pompey backed Hyrcanus II over his brother Aristobulus II. When he compelled the latter to surrender Jerusalem, its defenders took refuge in the temple, which the Romans first stormed, then looted. Judea became a client kingdom ruled by Hyrcanus, while its northern section was incorporated into the Decapolis, a league of semi-autonomous autonomous cities. Both Judea and the league were made subordinate to the new province of Syria.
Right, go down. Yeah, so Pompey captured us and besieged us in 63 BC. And what happened was he took a lot of us back to Rome and made us slaves. which you know in the scriptures as the libertines. The libertines in the scriptures, those the ones that put Stephen to death. They were liberated because they got their freedom. They were descendants of those slaves from 63 BC that was taken back to Rome and made slaves. All right. Now, bro, I say all that to what's going on? You see something? All right. So I said all that to say this. Now get the effect, the ethic. Go to ethic Wikipedia. EFIK. EFIK. The effect, ethic. I'm not probably pronouncing it right, but all right, read that.
The Efik are an ethnic group located primarily in southern Nigeria and western Cameroon.
Right, southeastern Nigeria. Once again, southeastern Nigeria and bordering right over at Cameroon. Go ahead.
Within Nigeria, the Efik can be found in the present-day Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State.
Uh-huh.
The Efik speak the Efik language, which is a member of the Benue Congo subfamily of the Niger Congo
Language group.
The Efik refer to themselves as Efik Iburutu, Ifa Ibom, Iburutu, and Iboku.
Jump down to the name.
The name Efik first appears in historical literature in the 19th century. The most popular historical accounts of Efik migration attest a movement from Ibom and
Arachuku
to Yuruan, and from Yuruan to numerous settlements along the lower Cross River. The bulk of the Efik can be found in Calabar.
Remember that? We read that. Old Calabar. That plays a big part. Old Calabar. Read.
Prior to 1905, Old Calabar was a term used to describe the Efik settlements of Duketown, Creektown, Old Town, Cobham Town, Henshaw Town, Adialbu, and Mabibo, consisting of Mabibo Ideri, Mabibo Ikat, Ophion.
All right, you can jump on
yes, thank you. The Efik have...
All right, watch this. Efik society. Go ahead.
Efik society consists of various clans, which were originally known as Isian Efik Idiaba, 7 clans of Efik, and later known in the 21st century as Isian Efik Duapiba.
All right, you can jump out. You could go down. Let me see something. Yeah. Keep going. See, go down. Keep going. Move a little faster, though. A little faster. All right, go back up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Go up just a little bit. Right there, let me see. All right, now, I sent you another article about the Efik. Keep in mind, 63 BC. I sent you another article about the Efik. Remember, they went to Old Calabar, southeastern Nigeria. Once again, remember, Southern Kingdom fled there. You know what I want? Yeah, right there. Blow that up. Yep. All right, let's read.
Efik history. The Efik are an ethnic group settling along the Cross River estuary and the banks of the Calabar River in Nigeria and in the western Cameroon vicinity. The history of their origin and settlements dates back to the 14th century AD, following their migration from Yuruan in the 13th century, and to the years that marked their first settlement at Ikpane, prior to them arriving at Creektown and the rest of their present riverine locations. In the antiquity sense of the name, Ephik, which derives from the Hebrew word afik or hipik, is synonymous with Old Calabar.
Read.
Both names have been used interchangeably in nearly all historical accounts of the Ephik for over 6 centuries, from the 15th to the 21st.
Now watch this. Read.
The Ephik Aboriginals are recorded to have migrated from Palestine.
From where?
Palestine.
From where?
Palestine.
So they said they migrated from Palestine. Read. When?
Following the Roman conquest in 63 BC.
So when Rome came in and conquered us and besieged us and took us back as slaves in Rome, we fled into Africa down into southeastern Nigeria again. Okay, down to Old Calabar. 63 BC. Read that again.
The Ephik Aboriginals are recorded to have migrated from Palestine following the Roman conquest in 63 BC and the resulting revolts against the conquest in the 1st and the 2nd centuries AD.
You see that? So that's the Ephik. They was an ethnic group, okay, of us, of the Igbos. They branch off from the Igbos. Okay? Would you see something? Go ahead.
Drifted through Egypt
Yep.
and the Nile into ancient Nubia and passed through Sudan into Nigeria in the 10th century AD.
There you go. Always fleed into Egypt and deeper into Africa. Okay? Always fleed there. All right. From there, give me the book Solomon Grazel. Right there. You go to the page. All right.
Jews.
Just get the highlight.
Jews are known to have lived in Cyrenaica, Tripoli, soon after the reign of Ptolemy I in the 3rd century BCE. Their numbers were augmented by fugitives from Antiochus Epiphanes of Syria before he was defeated by the Maccabean armies. One of these refugees was Jason of Cyrene, who wrote a book describing the Maccabean War.
Right. So Jason of Cyrene, he wrote the Maccabees. Okay. He fled to Cyrenaica during the persecution when Antiochus came in. So he fled into Africa. Go ahead.
A further increase in Jewish numbers came as a result of the defeat of the Jews by Rome in 70 CE.
You see that? 70 AD. We fleeing into Africa again. Okay, give me that in Luke. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, get Luke 21. Get that. Get that real quick. Almost done. What time? Almost done.
Luke chapter 21, start at verse 21.
Yeah, start at 21.
Luke chapter 21, verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Right. Now, read that again.
A further increase in Jewish numbers came as a result of the defeat of the Jews by Rome in 70 CE.
Read.
So large was the Jewish population in Cyrenaica in the next generation that in the ill-fated uprising of 115-117, the Jews almost overcame their pagan neighbors and the Roman army.
So we was whipping they behinds. Go ahead.
Rome's fearful vengeance caused many to flee further west into the territory then known as Mauritania.
So we fled all the way to Mauritania. We was already in Mauritania, even during the time of Christ. Remember, Paul went over to Mauritania. He went over to Spain, and we was already over there. Go ahead.
And now, as Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco.
Read.
Other Jews from the former population of Cyrenaica fled completely beyond the reach of Rome into the desert to the south.
That's the Sahara. Go ahead.
Such is the explanation how the Sahara Desert first acquired Jewish tribes toughened by a fighting tradition and possessed of physical characteristics which it is said still make them approximate very closely the original Jewish population of Palestine.
So that's how we fled into sub-Saharan Africa. We always fled during these different persecutions. We fled further into Africa. Give me Revelations 12 and 6.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God.
So the woman is the nation of Israel, okay? And the wilderness is Africa, okay? The place is America. All right, read that again.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Right. So remember, the wilderness is Africa. We fled deeper into Africa. All right. The woman is Israel. The wilderness is Africa. That was the place. Okay. Read that part again.
And the woman fled into the wilderness.
Fled into Africa. Go ahead.
Where she hath a place prepared of God.
The place prepared is America. All right. America. We're going to get into that. Okay. Give me the other book, Labagola. The one with the yellow highlights. Oh, well, no highlight. But blow that up.
That the narrative is the life story of a black Jew. That the narrative is the life story of a black Jew also makes it unique in kind.
Read.
Driven from Palestine after the destruction of Herod's temple, AD 70, certain Jews fled to the coast of northern Africa and slowly, through succeeding centuries, drifted towards the south until they became the principal inhabitants of some of the oases of the Sahara.
Read.
Some of them wandered to Timbuktu.
To Timbuktu, a famous city in West Africa. Go ahead.
And to the jungle south of the Niger River.
Nigeria. Go ahead.
There, after many centuries, and after having mingled their blood with the blood of the dark natives.
Ham. Read.
These Jewish tribes still persist. They are dark in color, unclothed, like the natives who surround them.
Remember, we learned their works. We were mingled amongst them and learned their works. Read.
And in many respects as savage and as superstitious as ordinary fetish-worshiping natives.
Right, so we started putting scars on our face. We started worshiping a snake, the serpent. These are the things we was doing because we was mingled amongst them. We had clothes. No, we ain't going. No. I'm gonna show you. We gonna get that. I'm gonna show you who we were when we was in Africa. I'm gonna show you how we got down when we was in the west coast of Africa. But read on.
Yet they have clung to the old Jewish traditions,
to
the laws of Moses, to the great Jewish holy days, to circumcision, to the worship of Jehovah.
So even after all of that, we still had some form of our laws that we kept. Go ahead.
And to the hierarchical rule of rabbis, wholly cut off from all communion with fellow Jews in any other part of the world, surrounded by every inducement to abandon their faith. These people illustrate powerfully the tenacity with which the Jew clings to his religion. It is one of these very people, one of the Imoyo Kwaim, or strange people of the African bush who tell this story.
All right, you can drop that. Give me Babylon Timbuktu real quick. Babylon Timbuktu. Yep.
The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes.
So we're going to show you who we were when we was in the west coast of Africa. We wasn't no ooga booga, jumping off trees and so forth. No, we had some common sense. We had intelligence. All right, watch this. Read.
They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them.
So wait, the black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes, over the Hamites, the native Africans. Read.
They carried their culture,
So we had our culture with us, meaning what? The way we dressed, fringes. Read.
history,
Our history, our books was with us. Read.
laws,
Our laws. Read.
and written records with them.
The Bible. Go ahead.
This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization.
Read.
Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the autochthonous
Yeah, the autochthonous. Yeah, go ahead.
population.
Which was Ham. Go ahead.
In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes.
So they end up joining us because why? We started doing what? Marrying their women. Go ahead.
the Jews made use of every opportunity. They were industrious and skillful people.
Read.
In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings.
So in the Jewish Guyanian states were found what?
Kings.
Kings. Go ahead. So we were kings.
Princes.
Princes.
Governors.
We were governors.
Generals.
We were generals. We were the knights over there. Go ahead.
Secretaries.
We had secretaries.
Treasurers.
Treasurers. Read.
Revenue agents.
Revenue agents that dealt with the money. Go ahead.
Judges.
We had judges.
Architects.
Architects. Read.
Engineers. Doctors.
Uh-huh.
Historians.
Read.
Language interpreters.
Read.
Mathematicians.
Mathematicians. Read.
Jewelers.
Remember one book I brought out a couple months ago saying how we was able to do mental math. Right. For trade and all that. Before Esau could figure it out on a piece of paper, we already had it stored up down to the thousands. We could figure out math in our head, like sharp with it. Go ahead.
Sculptors.
We had sculptors. Read.
Masons.
Read.
Carpenters.
Uh-huh.
Painters of art. Goldsmiths.
Goldsmith.
Leather workers.
Read.
Potters. Armorers. Saddlers.
Blacksmiths.
Blacksmiths.
Agriculturists, etc. It goes on and on. Come on, man. We weren't no savages. When they came and got us, they stripped us of our clothes. They stripped us of all these things. Okay? You could drop that. Give me Joel 3 and 2. Almost done. Give me Joel 3 and 2.
Joel chapter 3 verse 2.
Go ahead.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may drink.
Read.
Yea, and whatever ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon.
So Tyre and Zidon are Hamite nations. Tyre and Zidon are Hamite nations. Read.
And all the coast of Palestine.
The Arabs. Because why? Remember, you had the trans-Saharan slave trade, and then after that, then you had when Esau came in when Ham. The bishop, matter of fact, he just showed a book where it said that the Arabs and Hamites did ratings on Negro communities. They was rating our communities. Okay, this is what the Bible is prophesying. Go ahead.
Yea, and whatever ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coast of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Mm-hmm.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Read.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
The white man. Read.
That ye might remove them far from their border.
That they removed us far from our borders. Now, get me the book. The Atlas. The big joint, the big book. The Atlas of the Slave Trade. Almost done, almost done. Did y'all get that? Atlas of the Slave. Not that one. I want that one next, though, so keep that up. But the atlas, that's right, I'm looking at it. There it is. Read that, blow it up.
Slavery is as old as recorded history. It was present in all ancient civilizations, and in the Mediterranean and the Middle East. It was a major feature of empires and societies from the Roman Empire to the 19th century.
No. Go down to the highlight, bro. No, not you. I don't know why you put it up there, the highlight.
All societies have fairly clear ideas of who could and could not be enslaved.
So all societies all had a fairly clear ideal of who could be enslaved and who could not be enslaved. Go ahead.
In the early 16th century, African conceptions of eligibility,
Damn, you right?
tongue-tied, embraced a smaller geographic area than the European conception did.
Read.
Both buyers, Europeans,
so the white man, read,
and sellers,
and the sellers,
Africans,
Ham,
saw the people traded into captivity on the African coast as outsiders.
They seen us as outsiders. Read.
Although the identities that made trading possible did not remain constant over time.
All right, so you see that? They seen us as outsiders. So Esau and Ham seen us as outsiders. So they knew who could be enslaved and who could not. Meaning they know who we were. They knew who they was getting. All right, go to the next page. Not that one. Whole another book. Page 8. You just had it. I told you to keep it up. Read that.
Price and perception.
Blow it up for him.
Most white colonists, Peter Wood suggests in his recent study, would have marveled at the ignorance of their descendants, who asserted blindly that all Africans looked the same.
So most white colonists, Peter Wood suggests in his recent study, would have marveled at the ignorance of their descendants, who asserted blindly that all Africans look the same. Read.
In fact, European colonists concerned themselves quite closely with distinctions among African peoples.
So they studied us. They knew the culture. Read is going to say it.
And paid great attention to such things as size,
color, size and color,
and cultural or other characteristics.
See that? Cultural, identity, all of that. Read.
This concern has long been recognized as having been present in Latin America and perhaps to a lesser extent in the West Indies.
Mm-hmm.
On the continent, quite as much as in the islands, British colonists were also concerned about where they got their slaves, what they looked like, and how they performed.
See that? Go ahead.
Because potential customers had these concerns. Moreover, merchants in Britain and America tried to cater to them. And one of the determinants of slave prices in South Carolina was the bondsman's provenance.
Right, where he was from. All right, from there, you can drop that. Give me the story of jazz. So remember, we went over to Yoruba. We migrated into, that was Northern Kingdom that came into southwestern Nigeria. The Yoruba. Watch this. What do majority of the Northern Kingdom speak? Espanol, right? Watch this. Where's the book? Y'all got it? Start at accordingly.
Accordingly, Brazilian planters supplied at an early date with Senegalese slaves by Portuguese traders preferred Senegalese slaves thereafter. In the same way, Spanish planters came.
In the same way, Spanish planters
came to prefer Yorubas, English planters, Ashantis.
That's Benjamin.
And French planters, Dahomies.
So a lot of Levi came from around those areas. But I wanted you to focus on in the same way Spanish planters came to prefer the Yoruba. Northern Kingdom. Majority Ephraim. All right? Because remember, a remnant of Northern Kingdom stayed back. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. A remnant of Northern Kingdom stayed back. The majority came to this side of the world. Okay? Remember, a remnant, the majority of Northern Kingdom came to this side of the world, to the America, which was called Osiris. But a remnant stayed behind. Let's prove that. Let's prove that. Give me Luke 3:16. Anna, she from
Luke chapter 2, verse 36.
Read that.
And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher.
Of the tribe of who?
Asher.
So Anna was from the tribe of Asher, letting you know that a remnant of Northern Kingdom stayed back. Okay? Letting you know a remnant of Northern Kingdom stayed back. All right? From there, get me the Igbos. Give me the Igbos. Remember, majority of Igbos was Southern Kingdom. Majority of Igbos was Southern Kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Give me the Igbos. I don't want that. I meant Wikipedia. My bad. Wikipedia. Let me see. Go down to slave trade. Slave trade. Yeah, transatlantic slave trade and diaspora. Go ahead.
Chambers, 2002, argues that many of the slaves taken from the Bight
Of Biafra.
Across the Middle Passage would have been Igbo. These slaves were usually sold to Europeans by the Arrow Confederacy, who kidnapped and brought slaves from Igbo villages in the hinterland.
Go down. All right, so get me, it is alleged
that European slave traders were fairly well informed about various African ethnicities.
Read that. We already seen that. We already read that before. They knew who they was coming to get. Go ahead.
Leading to slavers targeting certain ethnic groups which plantation owners preferred.
Read.
Particular desired ethnic groups consequently became fairly concentrated in certain parts of the Americas.
Read.
The Igbo were dispersed to colonies such as Jamaica,
Benjamin.
Cuba,
Go ahead.
Saint Domingue, Barbados.
San Domingue, man.
San Domingue, I'm sorry.
That's Levi. Go ahead.
Barbados,
Benjamin.
Colonial America,
Judah, North America.
Belize, and Trinidad and Tobago, among others.
Okay, so majority of them, and other books says the majority of the Igbo went to Virginia, a lot of Virginia and South Carolina. Okay, matter of fact, yeah, read on.
Elements of Igbo culture can still be found in these places. For example, in Jamaican patois, the Igbo word unu, meaning you, plural, is still used.
Mm-hmm.
Red Igbo describes a black person with fair or yellowish skin. This term had originated from the reported prevalence of these skin tones among the Igbo, but Eastern Nigerian influences.
Yeah, forget all that. Give me a section of Belize City. Give me in the United States.
In the United States, the Igbo were imported to the Chesapeake Bay colonies and states of Maryland and Virginia,
Go ahead.
where they constituted the largest group of Africans.
Read.
Since the late 20th century, a wave of Nigerian immigrants, mostly English and Igbo speaking, have settled in Maryland, attracted to its strong professional job market. They were also imported to the southern borders of Georgia and South Carolina, considered the Low Country, and where Gula culture still preserves African traditions of its ancestors. Today, there is an area called Igbo Landing, where a group of Igbo had tried to drown themselves rather than become slaves when they disembarked the slave ship.
Right. All praises, all praises. Hey, go back to that article, the 1969. Igbo, the Wandering Jews of Africa. And I'm gonna end it here. Go all the way down. Right there. Go back up. Right there, during the slave trade.
During the slave trade, Igbo slaves were known to be the most rebellious. Most of the slave rebellions in the United States, Haiti, Jamaica,
go ahead,
Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and Guyana were led by Igbo slaves.
Read.
In South Carolina, Igbo slaves were reported to have drowned themselves rather than to be kept as slaves. Today, that place is called Igbo Island, in commemoration of the slaves who died there. The Gulas are Igbo. Igbo were one of the 13 African ethnic groups that provided the bulk of the slaves who were brought to the Americas.
Read.
The majority of the slaves who ended up in Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, Maryland, Arkansas, Mississippi, South and North Carolina, and Georgia were Igbo.
Read.
An Igbo museum has been built in Virginia to honor the contribution of Igbo slaves to the state. One of the Igbo slaves who was sent to Liberia by the American Colonization Society, Edward Rowe, became the 4th president of Liberia. Another Igbo slave, Alawada
Ekwano,
wrote the famous Slave Chronicles.
Right. So I have his book also. So he was Igbo also brought to Virginia. All right. So what do we thus prove? That the Northern Kingdom, we show how we fled deeper into Africa, the Northern Kingdom, how they got there, the so-called Yoruba, and as far as Southern Kingdom, how we fled into Africa, deeper into Africa, down in Nigeria, in southeastern Nigeria, known as the Igbos and the Effect and the Ibibios, the different ethnic groups that were there, okay, which was majority Southern Kingdom. All right, so Yoruba in southwestern Nigeria, majority Northern Kingdom, because Gad and Manasseh and all them were there also. And then you have on the southeastern Nigeria side, you have majority Southern Kingdom. All right, and how Esau and Ham and the other nations that was rounding us up into slavery, how they knew who we were and who they wanted. And the different, of course, the Lord had his hand behind that whole thing and putting us in our various, remember, in Revelation 12 and 6, it said we fled and we read Revelation 12 and 6 again. I ended there.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God.
Where we fled into West Africa, where we had our place that was prepared of the Most High God, which was what? In the Americas. All right? In the Americas. So I hope y'all gleaned something from the class. Hope y'all took notes. All right. Like I said, it's an honor to cover for Captain Joel. I think he Lord's will be back next Monday, but if not, then you'll see me again. So all praise the Most High. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You've been making violence, killing brothers, switching riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits